Hey, what's up guys? Alright, so I wanted to make a quick video going over what I think is going to be happening in chapter 319. And the reason why I wanted to talk about it is because I just realized after reading the official translation that came out this past Sunday, after recording this video, that we're not going to be getting the next chapter for 2 more weeks. So about mid-January is when we're going to be getting the answer to how the fight goes down between the 7 captains that showed up to help Asta at the end of chapter 318 and Lucifero. And me personally, I can't wait that long. I personally really do not want to wait 2 weeks to find out what happens. I mean, sure, we're gonna get the leaks probably, you know, within a week and a half, possibly even this next weekend. We're gonna be getting the leaks for the chapter, but I'm just so excited to see what happens in this next chapter with the fight that I cannot help but think about, alright, how's it going to go down, who's going to do this, who's going to do that, stuff like that. So I basically just want to make this quick video going over my thoughts of what's going to happen in the next chapter. And I mean, also comment down below what you think is going to end up happening in the next chapter. Actually, before I start this video, I do want to mention that in between cuts, I decided to change it from being what's going to happen in the next chapter to my prediction what's going to end up happening in the next few chapters. Because personally, I think the arc only has about, at most, 5 chapters left. Really, I think it's going to be 3 chapters, but I'm adding 2 epilogue chapters on top of that. And the reason why I think that is because depending on when you believe the arc actually started, we've technically been in this arc. If you want to say it started, you know, the chapter or the first chapter post the time skip, then we've been in this arc for a little over 2 years now. And if you want to say it started, you know, in the chapter where we got to see everyone invading the Spade Kingdom, then we've been in this arc for a little over a year. Which definitely makes this the longest, regardless of which timeline you decide, definitely makes this possibly the longest arc or single arc of Black Clover that we've had yet. And since Tabata doesn't usually write long arcs, I don't see this one lasting much longer. Now, here is, you know, getting into the main topic of this video, here's what I think is going to end up happening. Chapter 319, it's going to be very similar to what happened, unfortunately, to the 5 Kage showing up to help Naruto fight off against Madara. Now, I personally think Tabata is going to actually have a little bit more respect for these characters, for these 7 captains, than Kishimoto did for the 5 Kages, because I don't think Lucifero is going to defeat them as badly as Madara did to the Kages. Because personally, I think this is going to be Tabata showcasing what power-ups the remaining captains we didn't really get to focus on in this arc have gotten over the past 6 months. So that means that I personally think in chapter 319, the main focus characters are going to be Nozel, Fugoyan, and Dorothy. Because they're the only 3 that we really didn't spend that much time with in this arc. I mean, we got to see a good portion of what Jack, Real, and Charlotte can do now. And when it comes to Mereoleona, we kept checking back in on her fight against the Great Ancient Demon. Even though I would have personally liked to see more of that fight, we did get to see full extent what Hellfire Incarnate is capable of. So we really don't need to focus too much on those 4 characters. But when it came to the 3 that I already listed off, those 3 pretty much had all their fights off screen. I mean, we got to see a little bit of Nozel here and there, and we did get to see that one move with Fugoyan showing up to save some civilians from some lower level devils. But again, when it comes down to it, those 3 didn't really get to showcase exactly what they've learned post the time skip. So I think this is going to be Tabata's chance to basically show off what they have learned and what they trained up to do. So yeah, I'm excited for chapter 319 to showcase exactly what those 3 captains can do. Now, even though I am excited to see that, like I already said, I think it's still going to go the same way that it did with Madara versus his 5 Kages, where they're just going to be completely outmatched. Which, by the way, against any other opponent, I think they actually do stand a decent chance of winning, especially this team up with these 7 captains together. They are pretty much an unbeatable team, especially when you add on the fact that if Real can actually activate his Valhalla spell in time, they are pretty much invulnerable, like they're pretty much undefeatable. But because of the fact that Lucifero has been shown to be basically God in the series, I don't see them actually winning the fight right now. I don't think they're going to be strong enough by themselves to win the fight. And not to mention, Asta has already been shown to be nothing when it comes to Lucifero, and he only has about 3 minutes left in his Devil Union, so he's not going to be much help in this fight at all. So I'm thinking that chapter 319 is going to be possibly just showcasing the captains, fighting off against Lucifero, you know, basically showing off what they can do. And then we're going to go into chapter 320, which is going to be basically after they showcase what they can do against him, it being revealed to be the fact that they actually did nothing to him. They probably didn't even land a scratch on him. And then he's going to basically just decimate all 7 of them. Then, after that, we're going to have at the end of the chapter, personally, I think, when Asta is in grave danger of dying, we're going to have either Yuno, Noel, or both of them show up in their same stage to back him up. Which I've been saying for a while now, that I think Tabata's been setting up for the 3 of them to fight off against Lucifero since the beginning of this arc. So that's going to be finally paid off near the end of it. But even when they show up and actually try to help Asta out, maybe Mimosa showing up as well, and then somehow restoring him so that he can actually go back into his devil union without having to wait to 30 minutes. I still don't think even the three of them teaming up, including maybe even the captains getting back up and actually helping out in that fight as well, I don't think they're going to stand a chance against Lucifero. Actually, let me rephrase it. I don't think the three of them together, even if you include the 7 captains, I don't think even the 10 of them will be able to defeat Lucifero, but I think they'll actually be able to drive him to a stalemate where he won't be able to kill them either. And I think this is actually going to be the point where in chapter 321, we see the second Gates Devil actually get involved in the fight. Maybe not actually attacking the captains and Asta and them, but possibly basically subduing them and helping out Lucifero so that they can actually escape. And what I think is going to actually end up happening in this third chapter is that basically Lucifero is going to declare that he's going to find a way to fully manifest into the human world so that he can enact his plan of basically wiping out all humanity and taking over the world for himself. And then that's going to be the main driving plot of the rest of the series, where basically Lucifero is going to be trying to find a way to fully manifest himself, without the Clover ritual, and Asta and the gang trying to basically find a way to stop him from doing that. With, obviously some smaller arcs added in between there, where basically we're not focusing mostly on the fight with Lucifero. Maybe some hints or some connections here and there in those smaller arcs, but they're going to be focusing on other characters and basically evolving or expanding on the world of Black Clover itself. But anyway, getting back to the main topic of this video, alright, so that's 3 chapters down, which personally I think is really all this arc has left. But like I said, I'm going to add in 2 epilogue chapters, which I think the first one is basically just going to be everyone licking their wounds, basically, maybe trying to find a way to save Yami or trying to basically figure out a plan to save him and William, because as we found out in his last chapter, most likely both of them, at the very least Yami is still getting weaker and weaker by the moment, so they're going to have to try to find a way to basically stave that off and fix him, which I think actually does involve what Tabata's previous editor said in an interview, that they actually had planned on an arc where they actually go and visit Yami's home country. So I think that's actually where they're going to decide to go in chapter 322, or at the very least they're going to make the plan to go there in chapter 322. And then in the last chapter, which I think is going to be the last epilogue chapter of the arc, which is going to be chapter 323, is basically, I think it's going to focus on Yuno and Noel, because of the fact that I think those two are going to actually split off from the Clover Kingdom, and Yuno's going to stay in the Spade Kingdom and Noel's going to go back to the Heart Kingdom. Because after seeing exactly how strong Lucifero is and realizing that they don't stand a chance against him, they're going to want to train up in order to be able to help Asta out in this fight. Now, I don't think Noel's going to keep Udine, so I don't think she's going to have Saint Stage anymore, but we still haven't seen her ultimate magic, which I think is actually going to be the key to her helping out in the fight against Lucifero at the end of the series. So she's probably going to go to the Heart Kingdom again, go train with elves, train with the Spirit Guardians, possibly learn something from Udine as well, but basically I think she's going to stay in the Heart Kingdom and train up there. And when it comes to Yuno, it's pretty obvious he's obviously going to stay in the Spade Kingdom because he just unlocked his true born magic, Star Magic, which he knows obviously nothing about. Sure, he was able to use it well enough against Xeno, but he still doesn't know that much about it. So it would actually benefit him to stay in the Spade Kingdom and actually learn up on what his true magic is, especially since we already know that his parents had similar types of magic. So basically by studying under Rufus and all the other people who were working under his parents and actually were accustomed to their types of magic, he could possibly learn new things about it and actually gain a lot of strength from it. And yeah, that's pretty much what I think is going to be happening over these next 5 chapters. Now, I might be wrong about how many chapters there are for epilogue. There might be quite a few. We did have quite a few after the end of the Elf arc, so there might be more than actually just 2. But overall, when it comes down to the 3 chapters I had focusing on the battle, I really do think that's all Tabata is going to focus on this fight with Lucifero. Just 3 chapters, have the 7 captains show off what they can do. The next chapter basically showing Lucifero is nothing to fuck with. And then the final chapter is going to involve Noel, Asta, and teaming up against him. But anyway guys, that's pretty much it for this video. Thanks for watching. I really do hope you enjoyed it. Let me know down below what your thoughts are on what I had to say, and comment down below also what your predictions are for this next few chapters. Do you think I hit the nail on the head, or do you have your own ideas of where the chapter is going to be going in chapter 219 and onward? Anyway, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.